Welcome to Tibet This Week, where we bring you a weekly news edition on His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Tibet, and the Central Tibetan Administration. These are the headlines. His Holiness the Dalai Lama arrived in Mundgod, South India. Central Tibetan Administration celebrates the 36th anniversary of conferment of Nobel Peace Prize upon His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Parliamentary delegations from 6 countries hold joint press conference in Dharamshala, reaffirmed solidarity with the Tibetan people. Office of Tibet Taipei holds 2-day international conference on Tibet. Tibet House Japan hosts the 77th Human Rights Day. Tibet Policy Institute organized a panel discussion on the dark side of the People's Republic of China's green energy push in Tibet in New Delhi. His Holiness the Dalai Lama departed from his residence in Dharamshala yesterday and arrived in Mundgod Tibetan settlement, South India today.
Wherever I go, Indian public really showing me genuine compassion. And we truly spiritual brother. Thank you.
His Holiness is scheduled to stay at Mundgod till the end of January 2026. On Wednesday this week, Tibetans, Friends of Tibet, and devotees of His Holiness the Great 14th Dalai Lama worldwide celebrated the 36th anniversary of conferment of the Nobel Peace Prize upon His Holiness the Dalai Lama and the 77th International Human Rights Day. The Central Tibetan Administration led the celebration at 𝒊𝒃𝒆𝒕, the main temple in Dharamshala. The celebration was graced by members of parliaments, Tibet support groups, and journalists from Australia, Fiji Islands, Czech Republic, France, New Zealand, and Chile as the Central Tibetan Administration official guests for the celebration. Speaker 𝒃𝒆𝒕 𝑻𝒊𝒃𝒆𝒕 delivered the statement of the Tibetan Parliament in exile, and 𝒃𝒃 of the Central Tibetan Administration delivered Kashak's statement.
At a time when our world is shrouded in the darkness of conflict, hatred, and fear, His Holiness the Dalai Lama's philosophy of peace, rooted in compassion, wisdom, and a profound sense of universal responsibility, has illuminated a viable path towards genuine and lasting peace. It needs no elaboration that the primary purpose of observing this historic occasion is to devote ourselves to the study and implementation of these timeless teachings.
Representatives of each delegation took to the podium to express their admiration for His Holiness's lifelong devotion to Tibetan people's welfare, his profound message of compassion, and his enduring commitment to global peace. They also conveyed their solidarity with Tibetans inside out and reaffirmed their support for the Tibetan cause. The Tibetan community of New York and New Jersey also celebrated the occasion at Phuntsho Deshe Hall in New York, with Representative 𝒉𝒂 of the Office of Tibet, Washington, D.C. as chief guest. Representative 𝒉𝒂 highlighted His Holiness's unwavering commitment to nonviolence and peaceful reconciliation, grounded in tolerance and mutual respect, an approach that has greatly strengthened international support for the Tibetan cause. On December 10, 1989, His Holiness the Dalai Lama was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for his nonviolent approach for the liberation of Tibet in the face of extreme aggression. His Holiness the Dalai Lama also became the first Nobel Prize laureate to be recognized for his concern for global environmental problems.
Your Majesty, members of the Nobel Committee, brothers and sisters, I am very happy to be here with you today to receive the Nobel Prize for Peace. I feel great honored, humbled, and deeply moved that you should give this important prize to a simple Buddhist monk of Tibet. I am no one special, but I believe the prize is a recognition of the true value of altruism, love, compassion, and nonviolence, which I try to practice in accordance with the teachings of the Buddha and the great sages of India and Tibet. I accept the prize with profound gratitude on behalf of the oppressed everywhere and for all those who struggle for freedom and work for world peace. I accept it as a tribute to the men who founded the modern tradition of non-violent action for change, Mahatma Gandhi, whose life taught and inspired me. And of course, I accept it on behalf of the 6 million Tibetan people, my brave countrymen and women inside Tibet, who have suffered and continue to suffer so much. They confront a calculated and systematic strategy aimed at the destruction of their national and cultural identities. The prize reaffirms our conviction that with truth, courage, and determinations as our weapons, Tibet will be liberated.
On Wednesday this week, after the Nobel Peace Prize Day celebration, the visiting parliamentary delegation from 6 countries held a press conference at the main temple, expressing their firm solidarity with the Tibetan people and for Tibet's fight for freedom. The delegation comprised Jitka Sitlova, Member of Parliament, Czech Republic, Barbara Pocock, Member of Parliament, Australia, Vlado Mirosevic, Member of Parliament, Chile, Samantha Kazaboni, Member of Parliament, France, Greg Fleming, Member of Parliament, New Zealand, and Virendra Lal, Member of Parliament, Fiji. The parliamentarians confirmed torture and oppression of Tibetans by the Chinese government, reiterated their support for the rights and freedom of the Tibetan people, the importance of middle way policy as the right approach, and the need for dialogue to resume between China and Tibet to resolve the Sino-Tibet conflict. They also underscored the collective responsibility in sustaining Tibetan language and culture, their support for Tibetans' right to live independently, free of external influence, and that China should not interfere in the reincarnation matter of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. The visiting delegations also paid visits to the seat of the Central Tibetan Administration and met with its leadership. The Office of Tibet in Taipei organized the Snowland Forum 2025, Finding Common Ground, International Conference on Tibet at the National Tangshui University, Center for Public and Business Administration Education on 15 and 16 November 2025 in Taiwan. The 2-day forum was attended by Jayadeva Runade, President of the Center for China Analysis and Strategy, academicians, human rights activists, and professors from Taiwan, India, Hong Kong, Mongolia, Japan, the United States, Australia, and New Zealand, as well as former representatives and staffs of the Central Tibetan Administration and offices of Tibet. The discussions centered around China's political evolution through the lens of reincarnation issue of His Holiness the Dalai Lama and the future prospects of the Tibet-China conflict. A resolution adopted at the conclusion reaffirmed that all matters concerning the reincarnation of His Holiness pertain solely to His Holiness the Dalai Lama and the Gandhi Potang Trust, and that no other government, political party, or individual hold authority in this regard. The Tibet House and the Tibetan community in Japan was joined by 11 countries in commemorating the 77th anniversary of the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights Day in Shibuya Women's Plaza Hall, Tokyo. The commemoration began with a peaceful demonstration outside the Chinese embassy, demanding freedom and human rights in Tibet, East Turkestan, Southern Mongolia, and the other minority countries. At the program, Tashi Yangzum from Tibet House, Japan, and representatives from Myanmar, Cambodia, Belarus, Taiwan, East Turkestan, Southern Mongolia, Hong Kong, mainland China, North Korea, and Ukraine shared accounts of political oppression and human rights violations in their respective regions, calling for unity among people living under authoritarian regimes and appealing for international intervention to end violence and restore freedom. On December 1, 2025, Tibet Policy Institute, as part of the 3rd Climate Action for Tibet series, organized a panel discussion to bring to light the severe ecological and social cost of the People's Republic of China's so-called Green Energy Revolution in Tibet at the India International Center, New Delhi. The discussion, titled "The Dark Side of China's Green Energy: Environmental Destruction in Tibet was attended by researchers from think tanks, universities, media institutions, and independent experts. The discussion consisted of 2 sessions. The first session focused on the mining activities happening in Tibet and its consequences, and the second was mainly around the construction of mega dams in Tibet, which resulted in the disruption of ecosystem as a whole. 𝒉 Gyalpo, Secretariat Bureau of His Holiness the Dalai Lama in New Delhi, delivered the concluding address where he stressed the urgent need for Tibet to be recognized as a critical global climate issue. That is all for this week's edition of Tibet This Week. See you in the next one.